I want to begin my thoughts this morning by describing how often when I spend extended time with my grandson, I am amazed at how deeply he feels things. And the way that I know how deeply he feels things is because he expresses his feelings without constraining them in any way. So the other day, it was his half birthday, and his parents walked into the room with a cup of pomegranate seeds and a little candle and started to sing, "Happy half birthday to you." And he got so excited, he started smiling and he started pulling at his cheeks because he couldn't make himself smile as much as he wanted to smile. And at one point, Deanna and I were about to leave, and he got so sad that we were about to leave that he just started to cry uncontrollably. So it is incredible to be in the presence of a human who is able to feel deeply and to express feelings deeply, because he hasn't learned yet that if you look too excited, somebody might tell you you're acting weird. And if you get too sad, somebody might tell you that you're acting weak. And I wonder what happens to us as we grow older, and more importantly, why do we let it happen to us such that we lose the ability to express feelings, and maybe by extension, the ability to actually feel. So Passover is Man Cherutenu, it is the season of our freedom, and we can speak about all kinds of freedoms, but I want to address this morning the freedom to feel. It is so important for a human being across the lifespan to be able to feel and then even to be able to express feelings. I think that it is actually the cornerstone of redemption. I'm not exaggerating. Our capacity to feel fully, our ability to let ourselves and others feel fully, multiplied by hundreds and thousands of sentiments and interactions, can actually bring the world to a better place. In the 18th century, French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote The Social Contract, and he observed that there are so many things that imprison us, that prevent us from being as free as we might be. He starts by saying, "L'homme est né libre, mais partout il se trouve dans les fers." People are born free, but somehow everywhere they find themselves in chains. And the chains come from lots of places and need to be acknowledged. I am astonished still, but mostly sad at the extent to which we send subtle and not so subtle messages to each other that it's not okay to feel. A colleague of mine officiated at a funeral of somebody who died tragically at a young age. And there was one individual there, a great aunt, who was bawling uncontrollably, and she was shaking her fists, and she was actually screaming. And someone came over to the rabbi and said, "Can't you just make her stop? She's acting a little crazy." And the rabbi, my colleague, said to this person, "Actually, I think she's the only one here who's in her right mind. Why aren't the rest of you acting this way?" So I want us to just hold up what it might look like for us to liberate ourselves and others to actually feel. Now, of course, we sit down to the Seder. We're supposed to see ourselves as though we are leaving Mitzrayim. One of the reasons I think we have maror is because it excuses us to be able to cry in front of each other. You have the maror, "Oh my God, I had too big a piece." And you must know of people who use the opportunity to cut onions while they are preparing because they want an outlet to just be able to express their feelings. And this gives them a context that makes it okay. And then I wonder, why is it that we have the matzah first and then the maror? And yes, the matzah is the central mitzvah, and eating the bread establishes the meal. But it occurs to me that eating the matzah allows us to experience the liberation so that finally we can experience the bitterness such as it was. How many times are we in a situation where it's so awful that we don't even have the latitude to realize how awful it is? Not until we leave it do we look back and say, oh my goodness. The tears start to flow. The sense of the constraint and the bitterness becomes very powerful. So I want us to free ourselves to feel all of the things that a human being feels. Now, getting back for a moment to time I spend with my grandson, I had the idea for this sermon when I was with him a few weeks ago, and he was running around and stomping in puddles, and I was running after him and wondering whether I should tell him to stop stomping in puddles or let him stomp in puddles. And of course, I just said, stomp wherever you want. I'm the grandfather, after all. And then I started to feel sad. And I was thinking that I am likely more than halfway through with my own life. There's going to come a time when I hopefully will be saying goodbye to him. I will not be able to watch him live much of his life. And my sense of the passage of time got me feeling very emotional in that moment. And the first thing I did was say to myself, stop feeling this way. You're with your grandson. You're supposed to be happy. And then I said, just let yourself feel this way. I had this whole conversation going on inside of my head. And then he said or did something silly. And then I was laughing again with him. And I was back in that joyful moment. So on this day of freedom, during Zman Cherutenu, the time of our liberation, I want to say to us that we need to let ourselves feel. We need to let ourselves feel the sadness of suffering that is all around us and all over the world, throughout all different peoples of all different backgrounds, to feel the sadness of potential not realized and the passage of time, and to feel the anger at injustice in so many places from so many sources, and at those people who are trying to drag us down, and to feel the fear of life's uncertainties, and to feel the joy of small accomplishments and silliness and friends that we see at Kiddush who we could catch up with because they care about us and we care about them, and the daffodils that are blooming once again. How do they know every year to start blooming? Pretty incredible. When people are dating, they sometimes ask me if I can help them find the right person. And what I want to say is, above all, take the time to actually feel who it is that you are, what it is that you are looking for. And that is the first step toward encountering someone who will hopefully embrace you with everything you feel. Share who it is that they are, and God willing, create a genuine partnership. So I want to share with you a poem that was written by an Israeli woman. Her name is Meital Chordakovsky. And what she understood is that so often we feel all kinds of things, and we don't share them because, I don't know, all sorts of things get in the way. So I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then I'll translate it. The Hebrew is very beautiful. And this is a woman who is with her partner and thinking all sorts of things. Ratziti להגיד לך, אני מתגעגעת, וגם אני צריכה קצת לבד בארץ הנפש שלי, וגם יפים ילדינו, וגם מתי בפעם האחרונה היינו, וגם איפה אני מתחילה ואתה נגמר. מזמן רציתי לשאול. וכל מה שיוצא לי, תסגור את האורז, תעביר למייבש את הכל. I wanted to tell you that I feel longing. And I also need a little bit of alone time with my own soul. And also that our children are beautiful. And also, when was the last time that we were? And I also don't know where it is that you end and I begin. For a long time, I wanted to raise that question. But the only thing that I managed to say is, put the lid on the rice pot and transfer all the laundry to the dryer. We may have left Egypt, folks, but Egypt isn't so quick to leave us. So on this holiday of freedom, I say to myself and everyone here, feel free to feel, to enjoy birthdays and half birthdays and every day, to feel the whole range of what people are meant to feel. And from this multiplied by each and every one of us on this glorious planet that we share together, may true redemption come for our people and for all people. Amen.